Michael Robinson is a Silicon Valley legend and a visionary with a history of spotting tech trends far ahead of time, like AI giant Nvidia, which he spotted at a split-adjusted 80 cents back in 2016. The stock is up 17,062% since his recommendation. Michael was nearly laughed out of the room when he told Fox Business's hosts that Apple would hit $1,000. Today, adjusted for stock splits, Apple is well over $2,800. He met with some of the earliest Bitcoin investors, like the Winklevoss twins in 2013, and he recommended the digital currency at just $300. It's up as much as 21,932% since. In fact, from 2011 to 2022, when sharing his stock market recommendations, Michael's picks gained 24% on average. That includes all his winners and losers. During that time, his recommendations more than doubled the S&P 500. As an investigative journalist, Michael has butted heads with the likes of Lee Iacocca. His book, Overdrawn, helped blow up the savings and loan scandal. He's even been nominated for a Pulitzer Prize. Michael is so locked into Silicon Valley, he was actually in the room when the $3 trillion cloud computing industry was born. Here are some of his bigger wins. He called cloud computing pioneer Twilio for a 354% gain in just 2 years, and Viva Systems for a 372% gain in a little over 3 years. As a Silicon Valley insider and advisor to numerous startups, Michael's been ahead of just about every major emerging technology in the last decade, including artificial intelligence. But today, he's uncovered an even bigger story than AI, a mysterious investment known to very few people that could be the savior of the tech industry. In short, big tech executives like Sam Altman, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, and more are throwing large sums of money at a few small companies who have nothing to do with tech, at least on the surface. This is the next frontier of tech investing. Here's Michael Robinson with more about what he sees coming beyond AI.
Take a look at this half-finished building. It's located north of Seattle. Sam Altman personally invested $375 million to be a part of it. Altman, you'll recall, is the CEO of OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, which jump-started the AI boom. Even in the midst of closing billion-dollar deals with his partners, Altman was doing something very strange with his own investments. And it starts with this $375 million investment nowhere near OpenAI headquarters. Now keep in mind, this isn't a new tech startup or an AI data center. On the surface, this has nothing to do with technology at all. But there's more than meets the eye going on here. As Altman said at this year's World Economic Forum, when it comes to the next generation of tech investing, there's no way to get there without a breakthrough. We need this. That's why he's all in on the investment, even though it's currently under construction. Meanwhile, Microsoft founder Bill Gates just dropped more than $1 billion just outside a small coal town in southwest Wyoming. No company is there now. In fact, it only just broke ground in June, but Gates' investment is expected to have a long-lasting impact, up to 60 years at least. Yet, at first glance, this investment seems to have zero to do with technology. And look what Mark Zuckerberg's doing. His company, Meta, just signed a landmark agreement involving the building of a brand new facility. The location is yet to be determined. All we know right now is it will be located somewhere east of the Rockies. No, Meta isn't moving its headquarters. Zuckerberg's investment has little to do with technology, at least to the layman. Amazon's Jeff Bezos and other investors recently inked a $130 million deal with a small British Columbia-based company. But this isn't a cloud computing startup or a microchip company or anything like that. In fact, their operations have almost nothing to do with technology. So, what's going on here? On the surface, the companies involved have nothing to do with technology. They operate far from Silicon Valley. Yet, these strange investments could be the early ripples of a massive wave. Without them, ChatGPT could stop operating, and big tech companies like Amazon, Google, Microsoft, and more could see profits drop drastically. In fact, Elon Musk says these investments are critical when it comes to solving the number one problem facing AI. And those who know why these tech CEOs are putting their money in these strange places could benefit right now, before this becomes common knowledge. You see, these curious investments could be the source of the greatest investment opportunity this decade. Now, I spotted Nvidia 80 cents in 2016, at a time when very few people knew about AI, but I did, and I knew Nvidia's advanced chips could play a critical role. The stock is up 17,062% since I spotted it. One of the biggest wins for investors in decades. Now I'm ready for the next wave of tech winners beyond AI. And I think these mysterious investments are the secret to the next decade of tech opportunities. I've spent the last couple of years following this story, and I think I've uncovered exactly what's going on here and how we could be there right alongside the biggest names in technology. Specifically, I've identified two stocks that my research says will play a significant role in solving AI's number one problem. Now, before I tell you about these companies, let me fill you in on a little bit of background. The real reason these tech giants are pouring heaps of money into these strange investments. To put it simply, America is running out of power. Vast sections of the United States and the world are facing an impending energy crisis. Utilities just can't keep up. They're grasping for credible plans to expand the nation's creaking power grid. That includes places like Chicago, which is expected to see a 900% jump in power demand, and Georgia, where the latest projection for new electricity use is now 17 times what it was only a little while ago. Arizona's largest public utility company has even warned that its capacity could soon be completely wiped out. Why? Well, it's all thanks to AI, which continues to grow exponentially. This massive growth has one crucial drawback, however. AI is draining power. In fact, it's exhausting grids all over the world. And at current growth rates, some new AI servers could soon devour as much as 134 terawatt hours of electricity every single year. Now, that's more than what countries like Argentina, Belgium, or even the Netherlands use in a year. And my research shows that it's only going to get worse because AI is just beginning. In fact, when it comes to power, here's a scary thought. Arit Sengupta, founder and CEO of AI solutions company AIble, recently said that AI adoption is still in its infancy. We're talking just 1% of where AI could be in the next 2 to 3 years. That means, despite its swift emergence, we're still in the preliminary stages. By 2030, as much as a quarter of all United States electricity could be consumed by AI. Right now, there is no good solution to this fast approaching crisis. More electricity production and transmission alone won't solve this. So, what's causing the skyrocketing growth in AI power usage? It has to do with data centers. They're located all over the world. That includes close to 5,400 of them just in the United States alone. Look, data centers aren't new. They've actually been around for decades, as far back as the 1940s, in fact. But here's the thing. With AI recently exploding onto the scene, these existing data centers have been exposed. They're basically obsolete. They just can't keep up. New, far bigger data centers are desperately needed. Not next month, not tomorrow, right now, today. I'm talking about AI data centers that are 6 times more powerful than anything out there today. They are the ones that provide the vast storage capacity that's desperately needed to manage the massive volumes of data that AI generates. Without data, or more accurately, without the ability to process the data, there is no AI, period. That's because at its core, AI is simply the processing of huge volumes of data at warp speed. This is why Forbes and many others regard data as the new gold. Now, here's an idea of just how much data I'm talking about. The early version of ChatGPT, which set the world on fire when it was released near the end of 2022. Well, it was developed using 175 billion data points. That's the equivalent of 1 million feet of bookshelf space. It's about the distance you travel driving from Baltimore to New York, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Each day, more than 2.5 quintillion bytes of data are created. Yes, that is a real number. In fact, if we could gather up all of the data in the entire world and take a close look at it, we'd discover something truly mind-blowing. We'd see that more than 90% of all that data was generated just in the last 2 years alone. It's true, and it continues to grow. AI-generated data is expected to increase another 50% in just the next few months. And with data production increasing exponentially at such a rapid pace, massive new AI data centers are needed immediately. It's a challenge that Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang said big tech is going to have to spend more than $1 trillion in the next few years to meet. Right now, there are only about 500 of these new and improved AI data centers in the United States. But more are rapidly on the way. They're scattered all over the country, including places like Council Bluffs, Iowa, across the border from Nebraska. That's where Google has committed over $5 billion to a next-gen data center occupying more than 2.5 million square feet. This is no secret. Big tech giants are involved. That includes Amazon, which has committed to invest more than $100 billion into data centers alone. And get this, Microsoft and OpenAI are currently working on plans for one data center behemoth, codenamed Stargate. That alone could cost as much as $100 billion. Look, we're just at the start of an explosive expansion of data center production. More and more are desperately needed to keep pace with AI's exponential growth. Big tech has gone all in. And the market for these super-powered data centers is not just expected to grow fast, it's expected to literally erupt, with growth estimated at 2,000% in the coming years. In fact, almost 3,000 new data centers are expected by the year 2030. The whirlwind growth of artificial intelligence is expected to drive continued demand into the next decade and beyond. But here's the thing. The rapid development of these data centers costing hundreds of billions of dollars, that's something everybody knows. The media regularly highlights and celebrates these monstrous deals. But there's more to this than meets the eye. On average, just one new AI data center currently requires the same amount of electricity needed to power 750,000 homes. That's more than the population of cities like Seattle, Detroit, and Denver. And that's just one AI data center. That's because they're large, energy-intensive operations that often run 24/7. And nearly 3,000 more of them are on the way in the near future. No wonder Tirias Research forecasts that even before then, by 2028, data center power consumption will be 212 times what it was in 2023. Eric Woodell, a data center operations expert, put it bluntly. The truth of the matter is data centers are pigs when it comes to energy use, and now they're the size of elephants. And this boom in AI data center manufacturing is going to push America's power grid to the brink, with potentially catastrophic repercussions. It could bring AI screeching to a halt, and it could even destroy the profits of big tech's mightiest companies, like Amazon, Microsoft, Nvidia, Google, and even Apple, let alone affect regular people as utility bills skyrocket, even as they face planned blackouts to conserve energy and prolong outages because of creaky infrastructure. As Siemens Energy CEO Christian Bruch recently told shareholders, no power, no AI. And Elon Musk has said that AI could run out of electricity by 2025. This is why Altman, Bezos, Gates, and Zuckerberg are making these strange investments I told you about earlier. The world's power supply is disappearing fast. These big tech moguls are scouring the country and the rest of the globe, trying to find or create more, much, much more. Those investments in Washington, Wyoming, and east of the Rockies, they aren't data centers and they're not shiny new chip factories either. No, what's getting built here is far, far more important. You see, Altman's Washington State startup is currently working on the world's first nuclear fusion power plant, and Gates's Wyoming undertaking that involves the world's first natrium plant. That's an advanced nuclear reactor that uses sodium-based technology to cool the reactor instead of water. Zuckerberg's latest venture set to open somewhere east of the Rockies, that landmark agreement Meta recently signed, it involves the use of next-generation geothermal power. It's simple. Data centers need power, lots of it. And all of these investments are meant to provide just that. Because with current power supplies rapidly evaporating each of these investments, Altman's nuclear fusion, Gates's natrium power plant, Zuckerberg's geothermal operation, and dozens more like them around the world could provide the power necessary eventually. But there's one major problem with each of these enormous expenditures. None of them will be ready for years. That's right, Zuckerberg's geothermal venture is not due until 2027 or even later. Altman's Washington State undertaking might be ready to go by 2028. But that's considered an ambitious deadline. And Gates's natrium power plant is not expected to be operational until 2030 at the earliest. These revolutionary AI energy investments aren't expected to pan out for many years, maybe not even until the next decade. These solutions are 3, 4, even 6 years away right now, at least. That means that as vital as these investments could eventually become, they won't do anything to solve the energy crisis today. And that's just not good enough. Big tech is scrambling. Utility companies across the nation are freaking out. People all over may soon find electricity becoming a diminishingly available necessity. And while all that sounds quite scary, this crisis may just reveal one of the greatest investment ideas we are ever going to find. Because even though right now there is no all-encompassing solution available, my research has recently uncovered 2 companies that can make a massive difference in the present day. And those firms that can provide solutions to this impending calamity today, well, they could see phenomenal growth. We've seen it happen before. Big tech has been in similar binds in the past, and companies they partner with have provided the solutions they need, often resulting in big gains for those smaller partner firms. I should know because I recently joined Weiss Ratings as their Director of Tech Investing Strategies. And they have a history of finding these kinds of partnerships before practically anyone else. From day one, more than 53 years ago, their goal has been to give regular Americans the tools they need, not just to keep up with Wall Street, not just to beat the best on Wall Street, but to do even better. Consider this. Weiss Ratings gives buy, sell, and hold ratings to about 12,500 stocks, and they've been doing it for decades. And over the last 20 years, the average gain on our tech stock ratings has been 285%. Now, that includes laggards, and it also includes losers. On, get this, 1,339 trades. That's why the Wall Street Journal reported that our ratings ranked #1 over everyone else covered, including wealth management giants like Merrill Lynch, Deutsche Bank, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and Morgan Stanley. Institutions that have millions of customers and manage trillions of dollars. Weiss Ratings beat them hands down. Why? It's because Weiss Ratings is the only completely independent, truly unbiased ratings company. That's one of the biggest reasons why I joined forces with them. We rate not only stocks, but also ETFs, mutual funds, banks, and insurance companies, 53,000 in all. And unlike our Wall Street competitors, we never accept a dime from the companies or issuers we rate. We never have, and we never will. Again, the Weiss Tech stock ratings have given investors 1,339 chances to win time and time again over the last 2 decades. And over that time, some of the biggest winners among our buy-rated companies involve firms that stepped up and boosted big tech giants at times of need. And those who got in on them before the rest of the market caught on, captured some great wins. Now, can I guarantee this will happen? Of course not. No one can know for sure what the future will bring. But consider the history and some of Weiss Ratings' most groundbreaking buy ratings. Microsoft needed Citrix, a software company, to help pull off one of its most important upgrades since Bill Gates first introduced Windows. Citrix moved all of the major Microsoft apps from your personal computer, where it had been stuck for decades, up into the cloud, where anyone can work from anywhere. And lo and behold, Microsoft 365 was born, and Citrix, well, it soared. From the day Weiss Ratings first pegged Microsoft's key partner as a buy in 2003, it surged 903% through 2022. That's decent, but listen to this. Look what happened when Apple launched the iPhone. There was a little unknown company that made some chips. No big deal, except for one thing. Apple needed these chips to connect iPhones to the internet, all kinds of Bluetooth devices, and just about everything else. The company's name? Skyworks Solutions, which practically no one had heard of. Until, that is, around the same time our Weiss Ratings identified it as a buy in 2008. And sure enough, as soon as iPhone profits started to roll in, Skyworks shares soared as much as 1,242% through August of 2024. But if you think that's a big gain, just check out Tyler Technologies. Since the day Weiss first announced that Tyler Technologies was a buy in 2003, its shares didn't just soar 1,000 or 2,000%. No, 21 years later, it's currently up 15,892%. And a big reason was Tyler Technologies' work with Amazon. AWS is the biggest cloud provider on earth, and it can handle millions of requests every single second. It does this hour after hour after hour, day after day. And AWS needed Tyler Technologies' cloud solutions to make all that happen. And let's not forget about the biggest winner of them all, AI darling Nvidia. Today, Nvidia is one of the biggest companies in the world, and it's leading the biggest tech revolution of the century. New news? Maybe for most people, but not for Weiss Ratings, which first issued a buy on Nvidia back in 2011 when it was just a small tech company. Around that time, Nvidia began a lucrative partnership with Microsoft. Nvidia's next-generation graphics processing units, or GPUs, have been essential to Microsoft's growth and dominance over the past decade. And you know what happened next. The price explosion of Nvidia shares dwarfed that of Tyler Technologies, as much as 27,893% in 13 years. Does every buy-rated tech stock nail these types of gains? No, these are some of the most exceptional winners, and not every buy-rated stock made money. But Weiss Ratings and its 285% average tech gains has been an unmatched tool for finding tech winners. So, we don't have to manually sift through the thousands, maybe millions of deals out there to identify the potential needle in the haystack. Our rating system does the bulk of the grunt work for us. This is why it can make such a huge difference, and that's why I'm here today. Because big tech needs help yet again. I believe the two companies I'm going to talk about today will be crucial during this energy crunch. I already explained what has happened to the stocks of a few companies when big tech called on them in critical moments, like Citrix, up 903% from 2003 to 2022. Skyworks up 1,242% between 2008 and 2024. Tyler Technologies, which has skyrocketed 15,892% since 2003, and Nvidia, which soared as much as 27,893% since 2011. They all played crucial roles for big tech companies in the past. Now, with the more than $1 trillion big tech is likely to pour into AI data centers over the next few years, Our ratings have zeroed in on 2 stocks that we predict will help prevent the complete destruction of the world's power supplies. If you're like me, you want to learn more about these stocks immediately. So here goes. I call them AI's energy savers. The first one specializes in helping AI data centers achieve peak performance. It does this by creating next-generation systems that can handle enormous amounts of data at instantaneous speeds, all while drastically decreasing data center power consumption. We're talking up to 50% reductions in some sectors already. This will save money while providing a bridge to future energy sources like the ones Altman, Gates, Bezos, and Musk are involved with right now. Here's how it works. Remember how I mentioned that AI depends on enormous streams of data? It's why one AI data center requires the same power as 750,000 homes. Well, all these advanced new data centers need systems in place that can accommodate all that information. Networking tools, expensive chips, cooling systems, and other high-tech gear all need to work in concert with each other to crunch all of that data. And that's where this first AI energy savior comes in. This company's systems divert those enormous streams of data to where they need to go at lightning speeds. I'm talking billionths of a second. This prevents log jams and bottlenecks from occurring, which could shut data centers down completely. Basically, without these kinds of lightning transmission speeds, AI data centers are worthless. Big tech giants like Microsoft and Meta need this kind of highly specialized equipment to operate AI data centers worldwide. And it continues to make faster systems that consume less power to get the job done. With thousands more AI data centers on the way, equipped with this company's tools that will reduce power consumption, I think we're looking at a massive opportunity. I'll share the name, ticker symbol, and important buy price information with you in my special report, AI's Energy Saviors. Before I do that, though, let's talk about the second company that I predict will play a vital role in combating this universal power shortage. My second AI energy savior has already aggressively carved out a lucrative niche in the data center market. In fact, nearly 3 out of every 4 Fortune 500 companies currently employ its equipment. AT&T, Ericsson, Siemens, Verizon, and countless others rely on its innovative solutions. Nvidia already needs it to support this AI data center network build-out that's set to add nearly 3,000 more megastructures by the year 2030. And these massive new buildings will need countless advanced AI servers. We're talking millions of systems running around the clock. Those AI servers will generate 5 times more heat than traditional servers. That's a huge power problem. Because up to 40% of a data center's energy use is directly related to cooling. It's simple. More heat means more cooling is needed, roughly 10 times more per square foot, in fact. You see, for those networks to continue running smoothly, they require support structures in place to temper the rising heat. Enter my second AI energy savior. Its technology is ideally suited to counteract that enormous heat generation, and its equipment is geared to do this while using less energy. As AI continues to drive ravenous demand for computing power, with AI data centers sprouting up around the world, and with a long-term partnership with Nvidia in place, the market for this company's specific components is soaring. And if it continues, its shares could follow. All the facts you need to know about both of my energy-saving stock picks are in my report, AI's Energy Saviors, which you can claim in the next few minutes. But first, you need to know that while I believe these energy saviors are absolutely vital during this next wave of AI data center expansion, they aren't the only companies that I think might receive a major boost during this boom. I've shown you what has happened to a few of the stocks of companies that worked with big tech, and you saw how Nvidia's own stock exploded thanks in part to its partnership with Microsoft. But Nvidia hasn't just been the benefactor of these kinds of relationships. Other companies have actually seen their own stocks skyrocket after they worked with the AI giant. That includes the following special examples. Like ASML, which works closely with Nvidia on its GPUs. Its shares have been up as much as 492% since March of 2019. Super Microcomputer has partnered with Nvidia for over a decade on its GPU systems. It has surged as much as 3,244% over the last 33 months. Applied Materials helps Nvidia with a part of the chips called the wafer fabrication component. Its stock has been up as much as 562% since the spring of 2019. And then there's Taiwan Semiconductor, the world's largest chip maker. TSM produces advanced chips not just for AI, but also for billions of smartphones and all sorts of high-performance computing. Nvidia doesn't manufacture its own chips in this category. It's TSM that does that for them. And it's TSM stock that has exploded the most of all, as much as 6,103% since first partnering with Nvidia back in 1998. This is the kind of impact working with Nvidia has had. It's why I like to say that Nvidia has the Midas touch when it comes to AI stocks. But while everyone is patting Nvidia on the back for its past accomplishments, its tech teams have already pivoted to the next phase of AI they plan to conquer. And it has to do with this proliferation of AI data centers we're seeing around the world. While everyone sees Nvidia as a chip company, they've also become a major player in the data center industry. Now, all those big tech giants that are trying to solve the power issue, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, and Google, well, they all rely on Nvidia. They're Nvidia's largest customers. And just as they desperately need those two energy saviors during this AI data center build out, they also need Nvidia because it's already developed the special servers and other tech that's specifically designed for these AI data centers. Look, Nvidia's GPUs already dominate the market. That's why Microsoft needs them so badly. Those GPUs are already found in 98% of existing data centers. That's proof that everyone has been clamoring for them. And now, moving forward, Nvidia needs one company to help them. It's got to rely on this company to feed its high-tech and expertise into Nvidia. I call them Nvidia's silent partner because it's currently not well known. It's not a household name, and it maybe never will be. But here is all you really need to know. This company's technology is directly or indirectly inside the devices used by more than 5 billion people. That's right, 5 billion people. To put that in perspective, imagine every man, woman, and child living in America. Then imagine 16 countries with the same population as America lined up side by side. That's how many people use things with this company's products inside them. And yet it's practically unknown. When will that change? Well, I think it'll burst onto the scene in a very big way right now, when investors discover its silent partnership with Nvidia. The AI data center build-out that continues to take place over the next decade and beyond needs Nvidia, and Nvidia needs this silent partner. In just a few minutes, I'll show you how to download my special bonus report on this company, Nvidia's silent partner with 5.6 billion users. But first, here are two additional under-the-radar stocks that are powering this AI data center boom. These companies have also positioned themselves as being absolutely essential. And I believe they could be at the forefront of explosive growth in 2025 and beyond. I've identified a designer from the ground up of the chips, boards, platforms, and even software needed for all AI data center applications. This company functions as the gateway to trillions upon trillions AI is expected to bring in over the next decade, and a major supplier to technology juggernauts such as Apple and Tesla that is now charged with producing essential components that will enable AI data centers to function properly. Combined, these under-the-radar companies are just a fraction of the size of Nvidia. But as their work on AI data centers becomes well known, I believe their stocks will soar. We will send you the names and ticker symbol for those stocks as well and show you why I believe investors may want to act quickly on them. All in our just released report, 2 under-the-radar companies powering the AI data center explosion. This report is also available for you to download within minutes. Now here's the best part. You can claim your copy of AI's Energy Saviors, Nvidia's silent partner with 5.6 billion users, and 2 under-the-radar companies powering the AI data center explosion as a bonus right now. You'll also get my most valuable recommendations rushed to your inbox immediately. I only ask one favor. Give my monthly newsletter, Disruptors and Dominators, a try. I've been an advisor to 12 high-tech startups in Silicon Valley. I've served on the advisory board of a deep-pocketed venture capital fund. I've appeared on Fox Business and CNBC. My investigative exposés have made it onto the pages of the New York Times and the San Francisco Examiner. And now, I'll share my latest tech recommendations with you in my monthly newsletter, Disruptors and Dominators. As the name implies, this newsletter strives to show you both sides of the great technological innovations we see in the world today. It covers new, rapidly emerging companies that could disrupt the world for the better. And at the same time, it also covers the well-established companies that already lead their industries. That's why I consider this the best of both worlds. The opportunity for faster, often explosive growth, plus the chance for safer, longer-term, sustainable growth. For my money, I want both. And that's what you'll get when you become a member of Disruptors and Dominators. I've been in Silicon Valley for decades now, and my access as a journalist has tipped me off to some of the biggest breakthroughs in history well ahead of the market. I already told you about Nvidia. I recommended it at 80 cents a share back in early 2016. It's up 17,062% since then. I was early on Bitcoin as well. I recommended it in 2013. It's been up 21,932% since then. Several years ago, I appeared on Fox Business and predicted a bold call at the time that Apple would soon become a $1,000 stock. I thought the host, Stuart Varney, was going to fall out of his seat. Today, adjusted for stock splits, however, Apple is well over $2,800 a share. From 2011 to 22, when sharing my stock market recommendations, every single trade I've given has gained 24% on average, and that includes all of my winners and losers. That means that for more than a decade, my picks more than double the S&P 500. But in Disruptors and Dominators, you get something even more special. I'm combining my stock expertise with the 53-year track record of Weiss ratings. Remember, Weiss has given 1,339 tech buys over the past 2 decades with an average gain of 285%, including the losers. Of those 1,339 picks, we've had some truly exceptional winners, like 39,864% on Apple in 20 years, and 27,893% on Nvidia when Weiss Ratings recommended it back in 2011, or even 22,097% on Constellation Software in 16 years. So, when you join Disruptors and Dominators today, you get the combined power of my decades of experience in Silicon Valley and the completely independent Weiss rating system with an average gain of 285% on each and every buy-rated tech stock in the last 2 decades across all winners and losers. Take the story I shared with you today. I used my background as a journalist to uncover the potential energy disaster being driven primarily by AI's explosive growth. Utility companies throughout the world are scrambling to meet these exponentially growing energy needs, and virtually all of the potential solutions are years away. But I was able to identify 2 companies working with big tech right now to help solve this problem. When you become a Disruptors and Dominators member today, you'll get the names of both of these stocks, as well as the names of 3 other companies that I believe are poised to benefit from the continued build-out of AI data centers around the world. All of the information is in your 3 special reports. AI's energy saviors, Nvidia's silent partner with 5.6 billion users, to under-the-radar companies powering the AI data center explosion. You'll get a new issue of Disruptors and Dominators on the first Friday of every month, each with a brand new stock market recommendation. Either someone I believe will dominate the market or a company that appears to be on the verge of massively disrupting the market. Like the energy savior stocks and AI data center stocks I'll share in your special reports. On top of that, we'll alert you to any updates or breaking news on the stocks in the portfolio. And you'll get free access to our Weiss ratings for 12,500 stocks in the market. Now, there is a cost for Disruptors and Dominators, but don't worry, we're not going to charge you thousands of dollars. In fact, we're not even going to charge you $100. We want to give our subscribers a chance at a leg up on the so-called Wall Street insiders. So, there's no reason you shouldn't get the same kinds of access to high-quality research and investment analysis. How do you sign up for Disruptors and Dominators? I'll show you in just a moment. But there's one more unique opportunity I'd like to share with you very quickly. Look, AI's limitless possibilities, especially with the proliferation of these humongous AI data centers, are a big deal. They are the future of technology. But some harsh realities mean we must focus on the present too. That's because there's a digital plague among us. I'm talking about cybercrime, which according to Cybercrime magazine is projected to cost the world $9.5 trillion this year alone. That's large enough to be the world's 3rd largest economy behind the United States and China. The United States government itself is not immune to these attacks either. Federal agencies reportedly lose billions a year. That's where the tech innovators in my last pick come into play. They leverage AI to detect more than 1 million cyber attacks every single day. With their unique industry knowledge, they're able to advise the United States government on AI and cybersecurity. And that's not all. They sell AI-based security services to the Fortune 100 and 79% of the global 2,000 firms. Plus, they just announced a high-priority collaboration with Nvidia that is intended to drastically enhance several of their platforms. That's why I also have a very unique bonus report on the U.S. government's favorite AI stock. Inside, you will learn how this company acts as the first line of defense in protecting trillions of dollars around the world, how it's essentially helping to protect the Western world from cybercrime. And here's what I like the most about them: stability, long-term stability. Why? Because they've got so many U.S. government contracts, and I think that makes them a very attractive play in the long term. We think they'll be a pillar of the AI market for years to come, and as soon as this broadcast is over, you'll have the opportunity to immediately download a copy of the U.S. government's favorite AI stock, not to mention our report on AI's energy saviors, as well as our bonus reports on Nvidia's crucial silent partner and 2 under-the-radar companies powering AI data centers. All 4 reports are yours as a bonus when you become a member of Disruptors and Dominators. But with your membership, you'll also get a lot more. You'll get 12 monthly issues of Disruptors and Dominators full of executive quality research on the exciting world of tech investing. You'll get my decades of tech investing experience, plus you'll get my Silicon Valley expertise, all to uncover what I think are some of the best tech stock picks in the world today, dominating stability plus the potential for disruptive growth together in the same membership at the same time. That's why you need someone with an astute eye and a calm, prudent voice. I've been doing this for 40 years through the ups and downs, finding the right investments and timing throughout many tech booms. I've got an eye for the next disruptive breakthrough. Now, here's one more thing. If you aren't satisfied at any time for any reason during your first 12 months, just call my team and they'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. You can keep every issue, every bonus report, and every alert you've received. That means you get a full year to try out and enjoy our service. And if you don't like it, just let us know anytime, right up to the very last day of your membership. Now, today, as part of your risk-free membership with Disruptors and Dominators, you will receive 10 comprehensive, immediately actionable benefits. Let's go through them one by one. Benefit number 1, a full 12 months of access to Disruptors and Dominators. Benefit number 2, AI's energy saviors. Benefit number 3, Nvidia's AI silent partner with 5.6 billion users. Benefit number 4, to under-the-radar companies powering the AI data center explosion. Benefit number 5, the U.S. government's favorite AI stock. Benefit number 6, the user's guide to Disruptors and Dominators. I'll explain my unique investing philosophy and how to use it. Benefit number 7, 1 year of premium access to our 53,000 Weiss ratings, including not only stocks, but also ETFs, mutual funds, and other sectors. Benefit number 8, my flash alerts for critical, time-sensitive opportunities and warnings. Benefit number 9, huge savings. The total value of this package is $653. Benefit number 10, my unconditional 100% money-back guarantee. 1 year of Disruptors and Dominators has retailed for $109, but a $1 trillion AI data center build-out and the potential energy crisis big tech is battling to avoid as a result is upon us. And I don't want you to miss this. So today, you will get a full year of access to everything for just $49. That's less than a tank of gas. In fact, it's less than 14 cents per day. I think you'll agree it's more than fair, especially given the explosion of artificial intelligence and all the benefits it's bringing to investors. With the 6 stocks we'll share with you today, you'll have what I think is the very best chance to capitalize on this powerful and sustainable revolution. If you wait around until this AI energy crisis is on the cover of the Wall Street Journal, it will likely be too late. I've uncovered dozens of great tech stocks long before the market knew about them. I think I found a few more for you right now today. The AI market is moving fast, and while these energy saviors are behind the scenes right now, they could suddenly become front page news at any time. With Disruptors and Dominators, you'll have a front row seat for this tech revolution. Join now. Click the button below to join Disruptors and Dominators and get the names of my 2 energy saviors and all of your other bonuses right away, right now. I'm Michael Robinson. Thanks so much for joining me.